this is the grand debut of a brand new face, joining the ever-growing cast of Sonic characters. Who are they, what are they, and why are they doing what they're doing? Let's find out together in this issue of Sonic IDW, number 81, brought to you by these Wolfpack patrons. Our story begins in an extremely bright pink and yellow city, the city of circuses and endless performances. Sequin. You guys get it? Sequin? Like sequins? Boo! Though there seems to be a huge event underway, the Grand Carnival, where hundreds of guests have shown up dressed to the nines and wearing fancy masquerade masks. On some eyes half shut shit. Are we gonna see Joker running through the background here? As we zoom further into the scene, the announcer on hand tells everyone that the night's big showcase is one of the 7 Chaos Emeralds. Oh hey Barry, good to see you hard at work again. Bouncing between jobs, aren't you? I respect it though. Man's got rent to pay and he's out there getting paper. Enter our heroes, Sonic and Tails, as they're sitting around waiting for the event to start. As we can clearly see, Sonic isn't much for these fancy parties, and Tails is at least taking things somewhat seriously. Sonic, what are you doing, my boy? Why you got your fingers all up in those olives?
What?
Tails is at least wearing his mask while tinkering with a small gadget. Remember that for later. Tails states that he has a plan to catch the Chaos Emerald thief, and Sonic reassures him that he'll help him along. But just then, a voice interrupts them, and who could it be? None other than... Oh, and Shadow's here too, I guess. No, but seriously, he's not even trying to remotely blend in. No outfit, no mask, nothing. Man just doesn't care. See, this is where I'm starting to think speed types are just built different. Both Rouge and Tails are at least somewhat trying. When Tails asks if Rouge and Shadow are there for the same reason they are, she explains that she is not happy that her own emerald was taken from her and came to get it back from the thief. Though if she doesn't, she basically says she'll steal the one from there. Sonic, seeing Shadow standing there mean mugging, can't help himself. It's like the instant he and Shadow share the same space, he starts f***ing with him. Man's always instigating. Though I will say, I like how Shadow is written in this one. He seems a bit more on the locked in for the world's sake versus his more recent petty anything you can do, I can do better Sonic attitude. But now it's time for the show to begin, and the biggest stars in Sequin, the Celestial Troupe, begin their performance. Now looking at these designs, all I can think about is Nights into Dreams, but the comic book fan in the back of my head is dreading some sort of horrible accident occurring during the performance that leads to one of the performers becoming a powerful sidekick a la Dick Grayson in Batman. But thankfully, the show goes just as planned, and in a dazzling display, they manage to impress everyone. Except Shadow. Come on dude, smile a little, will ya? Just when things are looking normal, a cloud of smoke causes confusion. When a little mass sugar glider announces themselves through the veil of purple haze, it's revealed that they are Lunar, a self-proclaimed master thief. And look at this critter. They are straight showboating and schmooving on these generic mooks. Taking to the skies and gliding out there on some Knights type shit. With the thief making themselves known, Rouge hits her best and gives chase, with Shadow right behind her. But my girl has to keep the boys on their toes, throwing a table at them to get a head start. See, this is why people have a hard time trusting you, Rouge. With a path cleared, Sonic grabs Tails' hand and also takes off after them. And now the chase is on. Sonic and Tails hit that animation they did in the Sonic Mania opening, with Tails launching Sonic directly at Lunar. Sonic's like, listen dude, there's something big, black, and mean coming for you if you don't hand over that emerald. And during all of this, Lunar doesn't seem to be taking anything too seriously, even when Shadow shows up to collect. With both Sonic and Shadow there, they have their usual back and forth, before Lunar just kind of dips and takes to the skies again. Gotta say, I really like their playful attitude during this whole heist. The entire time they haven't shown a single bit of stress and just seem to be having fun during all of it. Once again, Rouge starts playing dirty to get ahead of Sonic and Tails, flash bombing Tails while Sonic rage baits Shadow to fight him. I'm not even kidding, Rouge straight up says this as Sonic is taunting him about being faster. However, all bets are off when Sonic says the only way he's getting that emerald is through him. And then all of a sudden Shadow's like, alright, bet. And the two start throwing hands. Meanwhile, Tails manages to catch back up with Rouge, and she's like, oh, so the first batch with flash bombs wasn't enough for you? Well, here's part 2. Tails starts to use that crafty brain of his and is like,
"It's not going to work,"
and throws them right back at her. Come on, Rouge, you know this boy is bright. How are you gonna try the same trick twice on him? He straight up Uno reversed her. Back at the scene with Sonic, he manages to catch up to Lunar, and just look at them, posing with that smug little smile. They truly are not worried about nothing. When Sonic asks them what their deal is, they dance around the question, telling them that their backstory is mysterious. Though Shadow is quick to interrupt and let him know that he's not here for the lore dump. He just wants the emerald. Now this right here was when I took out my magnifying glass and began examining this panel. This perturbed expression Lunar has. I'm thinking this might be the first crack we see in this persona they seem to be putting on. And at first, I was thinking it was because Shadow's aggression had them slightly sweating. But now I think it's because Shadow openly states he doesn't care about their act or performance or background. This Lunar character seems to like being the center of attention, and the fact that someone doesn't seem to care about their backstory or their little performance they're putting on might have wounded their ego a bit. Or maybe I'm just overthinking things again. What do y'all think? Once again, Sonic gets in Shadow's way, wanting to know what Lunar's deal is, while Shadow only wants the emerald. And look at this smug sugar glider, waving at the person that's actively trying to get to them. That kind of thing would piss me off. But why do I low-key love them for that? And that's when the two hedgehogs begin to scuffle again, straight throwing hands, just like I know you've all done to the like button already. Just when it looks like Shadow has defeated Sonic. Damn, again? First he beat Sonic in the official Crossroads animation, and now here? This really was the year of Shadow. Sonic reveals that while they were fighting, he basically got what he wanted. Lunar disappeared during their scuffle, and Shadow realizes that he won the fight, but still managed to take an L. With the Black Hedgehog storming off, Tails finds Sonic and they don't seem to be too upset that Lunar got away. And this whole time I'm thinking, dude, why are you two so nonchalant about this? Y'all let him get away! And that's when Tails is like, now do you guys remember that device he was tinkering with earlier in the issue? Turns out that that thing is a tracker that Sonic put on Lunar when he tackled them. So now the two can easily track them to where they're hiding out. Alright Tails, I should have had more trust in you and your plan. My bad. The two then track the sugar glider to what looks like an old abandoned building and find them inside. Though something is way different about them this time. Gone is their smug smiling expression and performative demeanor, and instead they appear to be panicked and confused about what's going on. Something else I noticed was that their text bubble color seems to change when they take the mask off. They claim to not know how they got the emerald, and even say how they're going to be in so much trouble, begging them to take it back from them. So, this leads me to a couple of theories about what's going on with Lunar. 1. This is all an act. They are pretending to be confused and scared to throw Sonic and Tails off their game, possibly a last-ditch effort to escape after being tracked to where they were hiding. 2. Lunar suffers from dissociative identity disorder, where two or more distinct personality states or identities alternate in controlling that person's behavior and cognition. Meaning, the Lunar we see stealing the emerald is different than the one we see before us right now. That might just be an innocent victim in all of this. Or, number 3. Lunar is being mind-controlled, either by the mask they wear or perhaps something more sinister. Maybe something like that Eggman bug that was latched onto Clutch's head we saw in the previous issue. Whatever the case, Sonic and Tails agree that it could be a trap, but decide to go for the emerald anyway. But before we see what happens, we flash to outside of Sequin, where Eggman and a bunch of badniks are preparing to crash the party. And that's where the book ends. So, Lunar is certainly a character I didn't expect to like off the bat, but their first flashy appearance and performative persona really made a good first impression. They just seem to be having so much fun while trolling and being in gremlin mode for most of their appearance in this book. Now, as far as how they were acting in the last bit of this comic, I don't know. I want to believe that they were acting, though it could very well be a dissociative disorder. It's too early to say, but it's like Sonic says, they don't seem like the type to want to take over the world, so why would they be collecting the emeralds? Unless someone's making them do it for them. I'm curious what you guys think. Is it an act, a persona, or mind control? They seem somewhat genuine when the mask comes off, but they could also be a really good actor. Plus, why would they show their face if they're a world-class thief? Would they want to keep that hidden? You may have also noticed I never addressed them as he or she. That is because the creator, Evan Stanley, has stated that the character has no defined gender, and that their pronoun is simply Lunar. So I use they them to describe them during the review, because I respect all gender identities. Sup everybody, my name is SG Wolfie, you're all valid and welcome here. Shadow, despite being baited into a fight, did seem well written in this one too, and I always gotta give a few extra bonus points for including Rouge in the book. Combined with a new mysterious character, and I think I give this comic a 9.1 out of 10. Hopefully you have all already spin-dashed the like button to show your support for this video. If you want to help me, Wolfie out, and get YouTube to show you even more of these, you know what you gotta do. Leave a comment for the engagement and algorithm, and subscribe if you haven't already. The story continues in issue 82, so click here to see what happens next. Last video's best comment.